The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Praise to you, Lord. As Jesus passed by, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the customs post. He said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. While he was at table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat with Jesus and his disciples. The Pharisee saw this and said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" He heard this and said, "Those who are well..." My eyes are still waking up. "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. Go and learn the meaning of the words. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." My sisters and brothers, the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
After making that point about waking up my eyes, what woke you up this morning? Was it an alarm clock? How many of you really need the alarm clock to wake up? I mean, I do. You wouldn't see me here if that alarm didn't. How many just naturally wake up every day in the morning? I don't know what you do, but I prayed to be like you. It still hasn't worked in 45 years. But the reality is, obviously, for that first reading, St. Paul, talk about a sense of call even while he's in prison. And I remember last fall when I was in Ephesus and the remains of that great city years ago, and right at the site where they really do believe the prison was, and he was there. He had that sense of call. Every day, in a way, he woke up, and waking up knew, hey, God, you're calling me. Maybe I need the alarm now and then, but Lord, I need to recognize and be open to and hear your call every day, no matter what the circumstances, even in prison. And of course, we get that in Matthew's gospel. Matthew himself. I could also ask the question, you don't have to answer this, have you ever written a gospel? I might say, well, there's the 4 gospels, that's it. But in a way, every one of us called day in and day out, our whole life is a gospel. Our whole life, hopefully, is that good news of God in Jesus Christ working in us and through us and for us. And living that way. Maybe we don't jump out of bed right away excited. But throughout the day, can we be fervent in hearing the call and following it? And a part of it, we see the way Matthew wrote his gospel in a sense. He first speaks about when he first met Jesus. Have we ever talked about maybe a time with others that we met Jesus and he made a difference? Because we're called to be evangelists. And then, of course, we see that Jesus says, "Follow me," and he does every day. Are we saying, Lord, I want to follow you today. I don't want to follow my tiredness, or I don't want to follow my crankiness. I don't want to follow my selfishness. I want to follow you and live the way you call me to. And hopefully each day as we hear his word, we do that. And finally, we may see the reminder that he calls us as the sinners we are. Can you imagine? It strikes me. He says to Matthew, "Follow me," and then he goes to Matthew's house, and what happens? There's a lot of tax collectors and sinners there, and that ate with Jesus. And still some people like the Pharisees, and we got to watch out that. He called that guy, or he called that woman. Does he know what she's like or he's like? And of course, then he goes on to say, and part of that call every day to us, go and learn the meaning of the words, I desire mercy, not sacrifice. So here we're in the sacrifice of the Mass, and it's important. But hopefully it leads us every day to go out and not label people who's the sinners and who's not, but go out every day and respond with God's goodness and mercy. And as he says, I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. So every day we have an opportunity with the people around us. They all come up short. We do too. to acknowledge that, and to bring the good news as an evangelist like Matthew, who wrote this gospel, each day to write the gospel, to let the Lord write it for us as we live as his evangelists. The world and the church needs to hear good news. We need to believe it and share it. Take a moment. God bless you.